Welcome back, friends of the Blend, to Board Game Blender's second episode. This week we're talking about tiny games. I tell you what, I love tiny games. I've got games like Zombie Dice, very small game. Literally, all it is 13 dice. Oh, here we go, all over the place. All right, so I also have Star Realms. This one right here. Now, this game actually has a fairly large footprint on the table, even though it's just this small deck of cards. What do we got? We got, I don't know, something like 52 cards in there. Okay, so other than that, let me tell you some other games I've got. I know. Here we go. Cards Against Humanity is technically a small game as well. I mean, yes, it has way more cards than Star Realms does. But if you look, let me show you here. Look, so you've got all these cards. I've done this. I can do it. I've done this before. Got all these cards, right? But the footprint, nowhere near as big as that. So I'm sure you have lots of questions like, what's that Lego man doing on my wall? And why does he have to lie down on the floor to pick up Cards Against Humanity cards? Well, the only real important question, though, is if I love tiny games so much, and I do, why don't I have more? Well, I was thinking about that, and basically, when I first started the hobby, I was drawn in by the grandeur of these big games. These games that made it clear that the games like Monopoly and Candyland and Sorry that I played as a child were not what board games are now. I didn't think a small game could do that until I got Star Realms. And then I realized there's so much to offer in these. But I still haven't picked more up, and why is that? Actually, I think some of it is actually an issue with me where I feel like I need to convince non-gamers through these big, immense games that games aren't just children's toys anymore. But you know what? That's not true. If anything, that has the opposite effect on non-gamers. For instance, you can't justify to a non-gamer playing 8 hours of Twilight Imperium 3. You know, I've never played Twilight Imperium 3, and I'd really like to. Looking at you, Sam Healy. The fact is, tiny games have really big things to offer. Think about this. You can get 32 games of Star Realms in the time it takes you to play one game of Twilight Imperium 3. Or, to a non-gamer, you can get 3 games of Star Realms in the time it takes you to watch one episode of House of Cards. And on top of that, there is no lack of themes available as far as tiny games go. You've got the Great Heartland Hauling Company, where you're running a trucking company. You've got Diamonds, where you're in charge of diamond vaults and you're trying to keep your diamonds safe. And then you've got Dia Monsters, that's about monsters that eat diamonds, I think. So what does this mean for new gamers who are getting into this trap of getting caught up in all these awesome, really, really cool big games that are full of theme? Realize there's some great games out there that don't have to take up 2 to 3 hours of your time. They don't have to take up 3 kitchen tables. That don't require a degree to understand how to play them. War gamers. So now, being that I need to take my own advice in this, I vow to obtain immediately, within the next 2 weeks before the next episode, one small game, one tiny game. So, until next time, if you're bored online, board offline.